Hey, welcome everybody to our May call. This is called Inflammation, the Root of Pain. We just want to thank you for being on live with us. Hello to anybody who's catching the recording of this. I would encourage you to take notes as we are going. You can put your questions in the chat box if you have them. We'll work hard to get them answered in there. We will be sharing some recipes and some things as we go, and we do our best to put them in the chat box, which you can save if you want to, or we also post them with the recording of this in Fierce Oilers, so be sure to watch for that there as well. We're going to spend the next 30 minutes talking about doTERRA oils and products that support a healthy inflammatory response. We've broken it up into two categories. I love categories: topical support and internal support, to help you categorize the different ways you can support your body in this way. And I just want to say that our inflammatory response is such a gift. It's an amazing thing. It's created in an amazing way. It does wonderful things. It's very important to how our bodies work and to our well-being. But when it goes on and on and on, right, chronic inflammation, it really can wreak havoc on our entire body. Pain is a very obvious result of chronic inflammation. That makes sense, I'm sure, to you. What are maybe some less obvious things that it leads to? Allergies. So many people this time of year are talking to me about allergies, and inflammation is such a huge part of what's going on with that. You can read about how chronic inflammation has its own role in cancer. Chronic inflammation has a role to play in depression and things going on with your mood. So I would consider a healthy inflammatory response to be foundational for overall health and wellness. And I think it is really at the root of many of the things that we're dealing with, okay? So you're going to get to hear from a great lineup of speakers, and we're going to start off by looking at topical support first. So Melissa, take it away.
Amy, are you going to forgive me? I have some internal use on mine.
Boo. She broke my categories, guys. She had one rule. Just kidding. I love you, of course. Of course.
Okay, so I'm really excited because I get to talk about two oils, one single oil and one oil blend. So I'm going to start you off, and I might throw in a little internal use. So hold on to your hat. The first oil that I get to talk about is copaiba or copaiba. And I'm going to start off with a little bit of science. Now, I will say that there are people in this group that are more scientific minded than I am. So I'm going to try to give this justice. Just hang on with me for just a second, okay? So I want you to understand that copaiba essential oil is so unique, and it's really effective because of its high level of beta caryophyllene. Copaiba has the highest level of beta caryophyllene that we are aware of. So I'm just going to call that BCP, right? Instead of that long word. So BCP targets the body's CB2 receptors, and it ignores the CB1 receptor. Now, I just want you to hang in here. CB2 receptors are believed to play a role in regulating our immune signaling and our inflammatory response. So that's a really good thing. The CB1 receptors are involved in receiving that high that's associated with cannabis, okay? So it's a really good thing what copaiba can do. So what I'm saying is copaiba stimulates a healthy immune and healthy inflammatory response without giving you that high that you would get from other products that contain ingredients that would affect that CB1 receptor. So this pure and powerful essential oil from the Amazon will lower your inflammation and therefore decrease your pain without any kind of response that would cause you to fail a drug test, which can be true of other CBD type products on the market. So I like to think of copaiba as doTERRA's response to the CBD industry. I'm going to tell you something mind-blowing here. It's similar to black pepper essential oil. I bet you didn't know that. So if you have one and not the other, you can substitute them freely if you're in a pickle. So copaiba can be added directly to your mouth to cleanse and soothe your gums and oral cavity, let's just say. So when someone has a tooth issue, we tend to reach for On Guard because of the clove oil, which has natural anti-inflammatory properties, but now you know you can reach for your copaiba too. I've used copaiba throughout the pandemic for wrist pain that has kept me up at night, caused by working all over the place in different positions, having bad posture and poor wrist support. But I can get up in the night, put a few drops of that copaiba in my hand, and just put it on my wrist like this. And literally within minutes, I am pain free and I can fall back to sleep. I want you to remember that you can use copaiba internally too. I don't know what's going on. I can see Amy in the background there. I'm ignoring that. You can use it in soft gels. You can make your own. Bad Bob and I like to drop it right on our tongue, 2 drops, and then we take a swig of water. So now I'm going to move into past tense, which is a blend. It's also referred to as the tension blend. So in the past, this blend came in a roller bottle, and now it's in a 5 milliliter bottle. So the beauty of that is you can use it in your diffuser now without having to wrestle off that top, but you can make your own roller bottles with it too. So I think it's the best of both worlds. This blend contains wintergreen, lavender, peppermint, frank, cilantro, marjoram, chamomile, and rosemary. These oils are a wonderful combo of oils that are anti-inflammatory, soothing, calming, tension relieving. It's like everything in a bottle. So if you have like headaches or that specific kind of headache where you get an aura before you get the headache, massage this into your temples and your forehead, and trust me, you only need a little. Don't use very much. It also relieves inflammation and tension in your neck. You can use it back there. I've had people say that they use past tense on their temples and their forehead for that throbbing head pain. And then 15 minutes later, they try the Deep Blue Soothing Blend in the same places. And then they alternate back and forth every 15 minutes. And I'm going to give you a much sought after diffuser recipe for your past tense. 2 drops each of past tense, 2 drops of Siberian fir, and 1 drop of thyme. And that recipe is going to help old patterns of tension and control fall away.
Mic drop. That diffuser blend sounded so good. I kind of forgot that past tense was so diffusable now, which is a real gift, I think, in that. Okay, thanks, Melissa. That was awesome. You're forgiven for breaking a rule because the diffuser blend was good. Emily, you're up next.
I'm only going to talk about topical use because those were the instructions. I'm just kidding. But I am only going to talk about topical use. So I'm going to talk about Deep Blue. Okay, so let's start with the oil. So you have 3 options with your Deep Blue. You have the 5 ml oil. You've got the Touch, so it's already diluted in a roller for you. And you've got the Deep Blue Rub. Okay, I think Susan is going to talk about the internal use of Deep Blue. None of these are for internal use, okay? So let's start with the oil. I love the Deep Blue line. If you've heard me talk about this, you've probably heard me say this before, but I think Deep Blue is the best for people in your life that are skeptical about oils, that are like, I don't know what you're doing, but it's weird. Like my husband was so skeptical about oils for years, and Deep Blue is so great because it's one of those oils you can feel working immediately. So if you or someone that you love has tension in the neck and shoulders, this is a really great option. So for my husband, when we were like getting into oils, and for a long time, he was like, this is weird. You're getting weird. It would be the Deep Blue that he would be like, I don't know about any of this if it works, but like, could you put some Deep Blue on my back? Because it kind of, you could put some Deep Blue on my back. That's fine. So this is like the best gateway oil for people, but really you can feel it working immediately. So like I said, hold tension in my neck and shoulders. This is a great option for that. So you can, if you have like a really sore area, wherever there's like a lot of inflammation, tension, soreness, you can layer them. So I would layer the oil and the rub on top of each other. The rub is a really good option for I have this one area that's sore, right? It's just my shoulder. The rub is a great option. If it's more like I'm kind of sore everywhere, I would reach for the oil or do both. So the oil will kind of circulate better water throughout your system, the rub will stay topically, right? So definitely reach for both of those. Layer if you're feeling sore. The touch, so it's already diluted. This is a really nice option for kids, right? You don't have to worry about diluting if there's peppermint in it. So if it feels too minty, if you have more sensitive skin, the roller is a really nice option. It's not currently available right now. I'm anticipating it coming back really soon. But you can make your own, right? If you've got the oil and an empty roller, make your own 20 drops in a roller and fill it with coconut oil. Easy thing to have on hand if you have like constant tension, right? Just roll it on wherever you're feeling sore. So if you haven't used Deep Blue, the blend in there is wintergreen, camphor, peppermint, lang lang, helichrysum, blue tansy, blue chamomile, and osmanthus. So that, like I said, these are not for internal use. These are just for topical use, but super great option for anything that's sore, not feeling well. Reach for your Deep Blue.
Thanks. Did James come out to defend his honor because you were talking smack? Okay, Laura Whip, it's over to you.
Okay, well, apparently Melissa and I are such rule breakers because I have some internal stuff as well as topical for you tonight. Sorry, Amy. So you might notice that I have my glass of red wine. Okay, I love a good glass of red wine, but actually, did you know it's anti-inflammatory? It has resveratrol in it. And so I just thought I would throw that in as a little sideline. But besides red wine, there's actually a lot more you can do to relieve pain and inflammation. I'm going to talk about a couple of recipes. One is the light blue roller, and it's totally not lightweight. So don't let the word light, as in light blue, throw you. It is a real powerhouse. Em just shared about Deep Blue, so I won't repeat that. But just to remember that Deep Blue is a powerhouse heavy hitter all by itself. By adding just one oil though, this recipe totally amplifies the properties of Deep Blue. That oil is frankincense. So frankincense all by itself is a powerful anti-inflammatory, but it also has this really unique property. It's synergist in that it amplifies the properties of whatever oil you put it with. So this recipe is really easy. Into a roller bottle. And you can order these right on the doTERRA website put them into your next order if you don't have roller bottles already. You put 25 drops of Deep Blue and 15 drops of frankincense, and then you top it off with FCO, fractionated coconut oil. So the next step is really critical though. You have to roll it on wherever it hurts. So the key to the effectiveness of doTERRA essential oils is that you have to actually use them. You can't leave them in the cupboard or in the medicine cabinet or on the shelf or in the drawer. You have to actually get them out and use them. So make yourself this light blue roller bottle and just put it on wherever it hurts. It's amazing. And I know that Amy's husband, Gary, uses light blue all the time. He has a sore shoulder sometimes, right? So the next recipes I have for you are two variations on a pain capsule. One is highly recommended by our own Dr. Hill. This is for when you have big time inflammation and pain that goes along with it. So into a veggie cap, and again, you can order these right from the doTERRA website. They look like this, and they come in a jar like this. And I think they're $4. So totally not a deal breaker. Anyway, so you take 3 drops each of Siberian fir, copaiba, that Melissa talked about, and frankincense into a veggie cap, and you take one as often as needed. And can you guess why the frank? That's right. It's the amplifier that ramps up the anti-inflammatory properties of Siberian fir and the copaiba. So the next powerful pain relief or inflammation relief recipe also goes in a capsule, and that would be equal drops, which you can fit, let me see, 12 to 16 drops in one of those capsules, depending on how big the drops come out of the bottle. So anywhere from 4 to 6 drops each of oregano, marjoram, and there's frankincense again. So those 3. And marjoram is an antispasmodic and an anti-inflammatory oil, and oregano is anti-inflammatory as well. So there you have it. You can order some veggie caps and roller bottles right from doTERRA, put them in your next order, and you'll be set for pain and inflammation.
Thanks, Laura Whip, rule breaker number 2. Okay, Jerry Huffman, it's over to you.
There we go. I'm going to begin to talk about internal, and this is all internal. So some of us on this call have been using this product for a long time, and some of you may not have been, and that's our Lifelong Vitality Pack supplements. These are the foundation, and they're the #1 product sold in doTERRA, and this is why. One of the key things we need, right, for our foundation is nutrition. And we know that many of us are lacking in some of our daily nutrients and minerals and vitamins and whatnot. And so the LLV helps to fill in the gap where we might be lacking on those things from day to day, depending upon what we're eating, our stress level and whatnot. So we hear a lot of talk about antioxidants. And so the LLV contains numerous antioxidants. And what those do is they really help to prevent the rust from forming within our body, like rust on iron. So it helps our cells and our organisms, our body functions humming along. So it gives us the tools we need to have that healthy immune response, and it gets down to the cellular level. So it's unique. It's unlike any other supplement product on the market. There are 3 parts, and they work synergistically together. It's the Microplex VMZ, vitamins and minerals, the Alpha CRX, and the EO Omega, and they work best when taken together with food. So for instance, the EO Omega has the right balance of the EO Omega 3 and the 6, and how it's able to be used by our body and why it's so important is because there's free radicals or toxic waste floating in our arteries and within our brain. And so the antioxidants that are in, and also the EO Omega, plus there's this, it's called carotenoid astaxanthin, and what that does is that protects that damage. It helps to collect those free radicals that are floating around in our body and to get rid of them. The Microplex VMZ has 22 vitamins and minerals in their whole food form. And this is key because there's so many companies out there making their supplements where they add synthetics of just different rock salts and mineral salts and things like that, and that they can't be utilized by our body. That's not true. doTERRA has everything in its whole food bioavailable form. Now, the Alpha CRX is the 3rd part, and this is key because it gets down to the cellular level. And it has the natural botanicals from whole food forms. Some of those are, and one is called, well, I'm not going to tell you what it's called, but it's a flavonoid compound that helps our body ward off those everyday toxins. Resveratrol, and Laura Whip just talked about that. That's in there, and that helps prevent damage to our blood vessels. Tomato fruit extract, which is lycopene. Turmeric is in there. Milk thistle extract, and that is another antioxidant. It lowers the bad cholesterol, decreases our blood sugar. And then boswellia extract is another one in there, and that's a form of frankincense. And that is a key anti-inflammatory, as Laura Whip mentioned. So if you were to compare these 3, the LLV, and compare it to anything that even comes close to it, you'd be paying over $225. And the doTERRA, when it's in your wellness basket every month, it's $79. Amazing. It's just absolutely amazing. You just really need to have that for your foundation. And now I'm going to pass this over to Susan Wood.
Oh my goodness, there's so many big words that you just said, Jerry. I don't know how I can top that. So I'm going to talk about my deep blue polyphenol. So Em was talking about the topical, right? She stuck to her topic, and I'm talking about the internal associated with this. So this is a great product offered by doTERRA. This supplement is a great substitute for other common things found in your medicine cabinet, in my opinion, such as Tylenol, Advil, ibuprofen, aspirin, any of those things. I swap that out. This complex is made up of natural products, including frankincense, right? So the king of anti-inflammation, I would say. There's also turmeric that Sonia is going to talk about next, and ginger, which is great for the GI tract. So say you've been doing something strenuous, like putting in your dock, you may want to grab a few of these on a just a couple of those for those occasional aches and pains. If you're following on Facebook, that's why everybody's laughing right now. But other ways that to use this would be for chronic pain. They are totally safe to take every single day. So people with arthritis or say fibromyalgia, they can take this to help support their pain and inflammation. And some say you could take up to, they recommend taking 2 a day, but you could take up to 12 tablets a day without any concern of side effects, as these products are all natural. I know people who do that. And like we had talked about before, you can also layer this for really bad pain. I know Melissa's going to talk about really bad, severe pain, but you can layer it, like Em said, with the Deep Blue oil rub. And like Jerry just mentioned, along with our LOV, you should be good to go with this. So as Laura said, it doesn't matter if you have all of these products if you don't remember how to use them. So I finally got a little bit more organized. I just want you to know, and followed in Melissa's footsteps and bought some crazy containers on Amazon. I don't know if you can see this, but the reality is that if you can have all these wonderful magic potions, if you will, but if you don't take them, you're never going to benefit from them. So these first boxes I bought. So I love it because it actually holds all the pills, because they're vitamins, so they're going to be bigger, right? And this helps me to take all my regular pills in the morning. Absolutely love it. But then I got this big bottle. And so this actually sits on my dining room table for me to take my evening pills. So I've got my extra vitamins, but I also have my Deep Blue there. So if I need it, instead of trying to find ibuprofen or whatever else, I just go and get my pills. And then if I've had a big tummy ache from eating too much, right, I have my digestive enzymes and my pre and probiotics. So all of those things together, in my opinion, help me so much. Thanks.
Thanks. That was awesome. Okay, Sonia, if she's still speaking to me, she's going to share with us.
Okay. I'm going to talk about turmeric dual chamber capsules tonight, right here. Okay, awesome. So these, doTERRA was the very first company to put these out in this form. Okay, there's a ton of turmeric out there on the market, right? You can find it on every website possible, just about. But doTERRA had a 3-year journey in developing this product, and it was subject to 100 clinical trials. It supports a healthy inflammatory response. It combines the benefits of both turmerones, which come from the turmeric essential oil, with the joint support of the curcuminoids, which is from the plant or the turmeric root, in a convenient delivery system. Okay, so here, if you can see, the dark yellow is the plant extract in there, and then the oil is in that second capsule, just like how our probiotics are, the green ones. In this capsule is 300 milligrams of the curcuminoid from the root and 160 milligrams from the oil. So combining both of those creates increased bioavailability in our bodies by 11 times. So if you were just to use the oil on its own, or just take a powder from somewhere else on its own, or throw it in a smoothie, this is 11 times more powerful when combined together, okay? Curcuminoids help your body fight free radicals and protect against oxidative damage in your cells. And it's also really great for your immune system. So it's not just for joint support, which is what I use it for, but also great to build up your immune system. They're great for inflammation at a cellular level. They also support healthy cellular function. So it's recommended that you take 1 to 2 each morning. And it pairs really well with 1 to 2 copaiba capsules at bedtime. And you can combine equal amounts of copaiba and turmeric essential oil and apply topically as needed throughout the day as well. And it's best to take the capsules with food or with a meal. It's been super helpful for me for my joint pain. I'm on the computer a ton. So I do have a roller, like one of those pain rollers we talked about. I use that, sometimes Deep Blue, but I can tell on the days when I am not taking this, okay? Turmeric is commonly used herb that possesses anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, antibacterial, antiviral, and antifungal properties. It's a member of the ginger family, so it's also good for digestion. And actually, as I did some research, I looked on PubMed to see if I could find anything cool. And there's been multiple controlled trials that have been performed to investigate the efficacy of turmeric in gingivitis. So kind of a question for Jerry, but I have a link if you guys want it to look more into that. And these capsules are $35 at wholesale for 60 capsules. But you could also get, and this is what I did with the Immunity Wellness Program, you guys. It's like the 3 kits that you can get, 1 per month, 3 in a row. You get them at 20% off for $28 instead. Okay. I'm gonna pass this on to Jerry. Or
we switched it. Sorry, you're
yeah,
good. Wait a minute. She doesn't want to give it to me. No, those are really good tips. Thank you, Sonia. I thought those were really good. I forgot that it was in that track. Okay, so I'm talking about some internal support. I'm talking about Terrazyme, and you guys are probably like, why on earth are we talking about Terrazyme? But just hang with me for a second. So Terrazyme is doTERRA's digestive enzyme, right? It's full of whole food, active enzymes, mineral cofactors. It's going to help you break down everything: proteins, fats, complex carbs, sugar, fiber, all of it. It's so good. It's so comprehensive. And I think it's the best digestive support, helping our bodies absorb, utilize our food, all of that stuff. So can I just say that it really irritates our bodies when we're eating food that's hard to digest. Okay. And even really healthy food, once cooked, is hard to digest and harder to digest and break down than raw food, especially. So a broken digestive process or a difficult digestive process and gut health issues very easily lead to chronic inflammation, right? It's so critical to keep your digestive system happy if you want a healthy inflammatory response. It's just a key part of it. So when your gut is irritated, undigested food particles can leak through to your bloodstream, and it causes a huge inflammatory response. You guys have, I'm sure, have heard about, right? 70 to 80% of your immune system is in your gut. So if you have food leaking through in that, like, that's like red alarm. This is not good. This is not good. And that's going to cause a huge irritation. So you're going to want to take 1 to 3 Terrazyme with each meal. And I would also really recommend adding in one on an empty stomach when you wake up, and before you go bed on an empty stomach, to help digest those undigested food particles in your bloodstream. You can get 90 capsules for only $20 when you add it onto your Lifelong Vitality Pack. Okay, that's so good. It's such wonderful support. It's $34.50 if you're not adding it onto your Lifelong Vitality. And I just can't say enough about this one. I think it's really important for that comprehensive piece of keeping your inflammation down. Melissa, you up next?
Yes. Okay. So I think I'm your last speaker, right? Save the best for last. So I am going to talk a little bit about what Laura Wipperman talked about. And the truth is, there are, you can do many different combinations of oils that have anti-inflammatory properties. And you kind of have to see which one works best for you, kind of keep track of that. But people, I get asked all the time, I have a reputation in some of the bigger groups of being like the post-surgical pain relief guru. I'm not sure why. You'd think I don't have any of my old joints. You'd think I have all new knees and hips or something, but really I'm still intact. But there's a trio that I would go to post-op hands down every single time. And that would be frankincense, lemongrass, and marjoram. So I would take 6 drops of each of those internally in a veggie cap with a big glass of water. And to be honest, you can use those every hour if you need to. But the point of it is to get on top of the pain and not be behind the pain. So I would say maybe you needed a few hours in a row, but then you ought to be able to go to every 4 to 6 hours. You can plan ahead before you have surgery and think about having these oils ready to go. Have a list of how they can be used. If you need help with that, I have a post-surgery protocol that I'd be happy to share with you. But I had a super painful surgery about 4 years ago, and I had my little, I had my oils out and a little journal, and they knew exactly what to give me, and we kept track to see what worked best. This is what worked best for me. So you can reach for these instead of narcotics, instead of over-the-counter anti-inflammatories that can affect your stomach lining and your liver function. So whether you need this kind of a blend, the frankincense, lemongrass, and marjoram, or even what Laura was saying, I think she put oregano in for the lemongrass. Whether you need it for short-term pain and inflammation or long-term, I would say commit to a week of using this recipe. You'll be really pleased. And just cheating a little bit, you can make a roller out of those as well. In a 10 milliliter roller, you can put 20 drops of each of them and top it off with fractionated coconut oil. And knowing what I know about copaiba, I would add 20 drops of copaiba too. You roll that right on, be consistent. I would say if you really want to make a difference with everything that we've all talked about, I would say use internally and topically as well to get that like 1-2 punch at inflammation and pain. And if there's someone in this group that's on tonight that's consistently taking over-the-counter anti-inflammatories and is willing to make a change, like a super consistent, like intentional effort at making a change to trying these, why don't you put that in the chat box? And one of us can follow up with you to walk that through with you and encourage you, and we'll see how it's going. We'll share with the group later to see what your thoughts were.
All right, what a great lineup. I wasn't kidding. Okay, so we are going to move to giveaways, our raffles here in just a second. We just want to make sure you understand, like the people that you see on this screen are all about education. We're all about like being there for you and customer care and support. And that motorcycle just drove by, thank you. But like we do this once a month. We have classes every Saturday, things coming up. So let's just quickly, I want to make sure I get you the registration info for next month. Essential oils for pets. Somebody else is teaching that for me because I don't have a whole lot to say. But there was one time Mama and Mimi talked about it. My mom swore on film. So I don't really know if we're going to be able to pull that one off. So highlight reel. So that's coming up in June. It's going to be really fun. No, it's a really good topic. Okay. And then do not forget about our Saturday morning classes. Oils for every age. At the link in the chat box right now, you can see all of our upcoming ones. Oils for every age. We've got stress, sleep, and emotions coming. And so keep an eye on those. Everything is free. Everything is 30 minutes. Everything is online. And my mom mostly follows the rules. So, I mean, I think it's a good time to be had by all. Melissa, why don't you go ahead and share your screen? And we're going to do giveaways. And so how we do this is if you registered, your name is on this wheel. If you don't get Melissa, your address for your prize to like be shipped to, we're going to assume that you weren't on the call, like you registered and you weren't on, and the prize will go to somebody else. So you actually have to respond with your address. Okay. Okay. I'm glad we can all agree to that.
And tell me what you won, because sometimes that's confusing.
True that. All right. So first prize is the copaiba roller.
There's Smith.
Okay. Past tense roller is next. You remember last month when we had it going so slow? Thanks for fixing that.
I know. But it's moving slow still.
I was just going to say, I hope it runs for like 20 minutes each.
There's Erica.
All right. Extreme pain roller. It just says the extreme roller. It's kind of fun. You're so extreme.
Carol Patterson.
A deep blue roller.
Yeah. Deb Peschel.
And wintergreen.
Jamie Rashid.
Awesome. Okay, so don't forget to get your addresses. Don't forget to register for Saturday calls for next month with Pets Call coming up. And this recording and all of our recipes will get posted in Fierce Oilers if there's anything you need to go back to. Okay, have a great night, everybody.
Thanks for joining us.